We've got breaking news now from Florida, where Governor Ron DeSantis has just signed into law that bill stripping Disney of its self-governing district. This following clashes over the company's criticism of the so-called Don't Say Gay law. NBC's Mara Barrett is in Tallahassee, Florida. She's been covering this for us. So, Mara, this doesn't take effect immediately, right? What do we know about what it's going to mean for Central Florida?
Right, Garrett. This law does not take effect until June of 2023. So we've got about 13 months to figure out what's going to happen in the in-between. We reached out to Disney for comment, but have not gotten any clarity or comment from them on what they plan to do next. It might be safe to assume that legal challenges will ensue because there is some confusion in the Florida Constitution about who actually has the right to dissolve one of these self-governing special districts, which is Reedy Creek, that Disney sits in. And so in this next year, we could see Disney push back against the state house here, or work to compromise with lawmakers, which is what the Republicans are hoping to do to make them something more like a Universal or other Disney or other theme parks, that would have to ask for permission to expand their infrastructure or build new rides, that kind of thing. And in the meantime, what people are really concerned about is where the tax dollars are going to affect the surrounding counties, right? Disney has $1 billion in debt that could now trickle into Orange and Osceola counties, spiking taxpayers' costs there. Now, I also want to note at the same event where he signed the Disney bill into law, he also signed what he calls the Stop Woke bill, which means stop wrongs against kids and our employees, which is an extension of his fight against mandatory civil rights training and diversity inclusion in certain education factors. He also signed or announced that he signed that congressional map earlier this morning. Again, everything going on in this special legislative session this week, a very, very busy time in Florida. But
kaboom. That is what's happening in Florida today, and it's like a neutron bomb. We've asked Anthony Sabatini from the House. Anthony, thank you for joining us. You've been doing a great job of keeping us up to speed. I want to go to basically how they are misrepresenting this immediately. This was the go-in when Disney went after the anti-grooming bill, when they went after the parental rights bill and came after it hard, and so they're going to put all their corporate power to take it to court, to tear it down, and to defeat it in politically. Where they crossed the line, DeSantis and quite frankly the heroes in the Florida House and Senate stepped up and had the full back of the parents of Florida had their back 100%. I want to go specifically to this thing about they're trying to fearmonger right away. It's $1 billion of debt they've got. That's all going to flow down to the counties. Is that correct, sir?
It's totally and completely incorrect, Steve. You nailed it. This whole thing started with deception. Disney decided to propagate the fake media narrative that our parental rights bill was somehow harmful to certain people. And the deception just continues. And this time it can be traced really back to a very far left Democrat tax collector in Orange County who's really bankrolled by Disney, very closely aligned with Disney. And he's a guy that's propagating this new media narrative. Now, remember, they can't argue against the parental rights bill, and they can't argue against giving Disney equal status to any other company in Florida. So what do they have to do now? They're making up this lie that's somehow wrapping up this crony capitalistic special tax district, which is what we just did, and the governor signed the bill a couple hours ago, is somehow going to raise everybody else's taxes $1 billion. The key thing to focus in on in this is that the repeal of Reedy Creek is the first step. Actually, this is really breaking news. Just 25 minutes ago, the governor released a bill signing statement for when he signed our Reedy Creek special tax district repeal. And what he said in there is, we're going to be going forth with reforms about how to manage Disney, how to manage their taxes. And he said, here's the one thing he promises. Disney is going to be paying more taxes than they did before, and no other Floridian is going to be paying more taxes than they're paying today. So that's what's going on right now. This was phase one, step one. There's going to be more reforms associated with this tax district. So everything the media is saying is just hot air to try to freak people out, make them think DeSantis made a misstep or a miscalculation. Nothing could be further from the truth.
I got to tell you, and I want to compliment again the members of the House and the Senate and the governor and the governor's staff, how professionally in the last 2 weeks. I mean, Florida has gone next level in this issue of taking on about the map, the redistricting map, and then about Disney and how it's thought through. And you didn't need to go to consultants. You didn't need to go to focus groups. You knew it was right. You knew what you were going to do. And I have never seen the media. I want our entire audience to understand something. This is just not the political media. The business media, the CNBCs, they're absolutely misrepresenting what's going on. And they're not helping these companies. It's kind of like the media guards the Democratic Party, and it's only hurt the Democratic Party. The Democratic Party, since there hasn't been any checks on them, any balances on them from a free media, they've gotten so far out of control, and it's only going to lead to their destruction this November, Anthony. But I'm seeing the business media, and they're spinning every part of this about how it's actually bad economically for the people of Florida. Nothing could be further from the truth. You guys have handled this so professionally. And I love the fact that the governor said, hey, look, hang on for a second. This is just the first step. There's going to be a lot more going on here as we really see about Disney being a true corporate partner in the state of Florida to really pull their fair share and to pull their weight. Anthony Sabatini.
That's exactly right. The goal here is to make the special tax privileges go away, make Disney pay their fair share, and then give Floridians, working Floridians, the benefit of our reforms. And that's what's going on. The left media knows that, but they have to try to confuse people because they really can't argue against what we did on the merits. They can't argue against the original parental rights bill, which kicked off this whole storm, and they can't argue against closing special interest tax loopholes. So they have to just make something up. And I'm proud the governor's doing that. Another real important point to kind of understand and focus on is how little $1 billion is in tax revenue to Disney. They're throwing that number around, and it does sound like a big number to some people. But what they don't understand is that Disney, if we pass combined reporting, which is a tax loophole that they just closed in Texas and in many states, and we need to do it now, to sort of summarize it quickly, it basically says Disney gets to claim they're making a bunch of money in Delaware and not Florida, so therefore they shouldn't have to pay more corporate taxes. If we did that, each year Disney would be paying $600 million more in taxes. This is a company that makes $70 billion a year. So we're talking about a really small amount of money that if we did a wind down plan for the district and just limited it to begin with, they would pay it off in a couple of years anyways. But the truth is they're going to be paying a lot more in taxes, like the governor said.
Okay, now MSNBC was outside today cheerleading for the court cases. So let's talk about the redistricting bill. That's now done. The 20-8. It could really be a 21-7. And the Disney, the bunch of these bills. You do anticipate court challenges of these, correct?
That's exactly right, Steve. Actually, this is more breaking news. The first court challenge to that started about 4 hours ago. Funny enough, they sued right before the governor signed the map. The governor signed all four bills, the Disney bills, the districting bills, about an hour and a half ago, 2 hours. And they sued right before that in court. Of course, they're arguing in state court that the bill, that the congressional map is illegal, violates the state constitution, violates the federal constitution. I think the honest people on their side are pretty open about the fact that these cases aren't going to have much success. We have strong constitutional judges here in the state of Florida at the circuit, appellate, and Supreme Court level, and we're doubtfully expecting to win rather quickly in the legal sphere pretty fast here. And they're just doing it. You know, obviously they're grifting, they're fighting, they're going to do everything they can, pushing legal battles and trying to raise money on it. But the truth of the matter is, I feel very confident about the legal challenges.
Anthony, real quickly, any blowback from the citizens of Florida of that really outrageous display yesterday in the, I think it was in the House of Florida in Tallahassee, the display by the elected officials, really a temper tantrum? Was there any blowback today on that?
I think that blowback is still being measured, Steve. You know, here in the state of Florida, I got to tell you, it was a sad day. I lived in Florida basically my entire life. My family moved here when I was 1. I love this state. And we've never seen the legislative process really been sort of mocked and disrespected in a significant way. And to see these guys screaming and yelling and, you know, physically trying to block the hallways and really turn the whole place into a zoo is shocked a lot of people. All the feedback I've gotten so far is that people are just appalled that's what the Democrats have tried to turn our state legislature into. And as one of my colleagues said, DeSantis derangement syndrome is a real thing. We don't have a cure yet, but we know it affects the other party in really significant ways. So I think the blowback is going to be measured this fall. We already know the governor and the Republicans across the state, Marco Rubio, anybody who's on a statewide ticket is going to win by double digits. I think that number just went up a few more points after yesterday's display.
Pretty successful special session on the week after Easter. So, Anthony Sabatini, how do people find out you're running for Congress? How do people find out more about you and more about your race, sir?
Well, thank you, Steve. It's SabatiniForCongress.com, and I'm on every social media platform at Anthony Sabatini, Sabatini.
Anthony, very successful week for you folks down in Florida. Thank you for taking time away on Friday to join us.
Thanks, Steve. Take care.
Let's see. I think we've got Lena. Let's play Lena Epstein's piece, and then I want to bring her in.
Our schools are essential for America's future, but the radical left is trying to destroy our education system from the inside out. They're pushing an extremist ideology called critical race theory into our classrooms and campuses, indoctrinating students to hate our nation and each other. Now they're destroying women's sports, allowing biological males to compete against women. And if you disagree, they'll attack and silence you. But Michigan alumna and conservative Lena Epstein isn't scared. She's taken on greater challenges and won. Epstein's built a large-scale business that's created hundreds of local jobs for Michigan. And while every other candidate refused to support Trump, Lena Epstein served as chair of President Donald Trump's 2016 campaign in Michigan, helping Trump win the presidency. Now, as University of Michigan Regent, Lena Epstein will defend our values and defeat the radical left. Epstein will protect our freedom of speech on campuses, ensure women's sports are for women only, and Epstein will stop the indoctrination of students, putting a stop to critical race theory.
Together, we can protect America's future and defeat the radical left infecting our education system. Go Blue.
I'm not sure we would have won Michigan in 2016 if it was not for our next guest, Lena Epstein. Lena, thank you very much for joining us. Tomorrow, Saturday, President Trump's going to be in Ohio, big rally there. There's a lot going on in Michigan. I know you got convention, but one of the most important events taking place tomorrow is this election for the regents of the University of Michigan. Lena, tell us what's going on and why have you put yourself forward to do this?
Thank you, Steve. So great to be on with you again this week. Tomorrow morning, 2,000 Republican delegates from across the state of Michigan are going to pick their nominees for the U of M Board of Regents. U of M Board of Regents are an 8-person governing body at U of M, responsible for hiring and firing the president, really directing the future of the university and approving the budget. And U of M has lost its way, Steve. It's gone woke. Conservative students are silenced on campus. Students are receiving messages about the critical race theory. The professors have hijacked the bully pulpit to indoctrinate the students. And I recognize that U of M had a wonderful conservative foundation. My intention is to bring U of M back to its conservative roots and draw on that early history.
Lena, talk about your family. You've got quite an involvement with Michigan and University of Michigan. Walk us through that for a second.
Yes, thank you, Steve. So my grandmother was the late Josephine Winkleman of Winkleman Stores. In the 70s and 80s, Winkleman's was one of the largest retailers of women's clothing in all of the nation. And Josephine Winkleman was one of the first women to ever get a master's degree from U of M. And in her writing, she documents a very conservative school. And so I think that's very important here as conservatives march forward. We're going to send that powerful message that conservatism is alive and well at U of M. I operate a business called Vesco Oil, started by my dad's dad. And, in yesterday's world, the blue dog Democrat of yesterday is today's conservative. After serving as President Trump's statewide chairman in 2016, it became abundantly clear to me that all roads for the 2024 election are going to go through American universities. U of M is literally in the center of the nation with our logistical position. And there's so much to fight for. I am coming forward with great political courage and preparedness to slowly but surely course correct the U of M ship.
So, Lena, in U of M, these public Ivies, you've got Madison, you got Ann Arbor, you've got Charlottesville, University of Virginia, Chapel Hill, University of North Carolina, you got Austin, University of Texas, you've got Tucson out there, University of Arizona, you've got Berkeley. These public Ivies are all important. These are for the kids that can't afford to go to Ivy League schools. These schools are obviously a lot bigger than the Ivies, but they're public Ivies, and the education is incredible. And University of Michigan, I mean, the economics department, this is a world-renowned place. And but what do you intend to do? What do you tend to do when you're there? Walk the audience through, because takes an amazing level of courage. We're taking over the school boards. You got the moms going there, but I got to tell you, these universities have gotten so far off track. They're such great institutions, but they're so woke, and it's gotten so vicious, to be quite honest. What do you intend to do?
I've received threats already to my safety and my daughter's safety. This is no small task, but again, I don't mind, and I have the political courage, Steve, to do this. My first intention is to set up an office, a storefront office at the main intersection at U of M. Open office hours where the regent is listening to the students, listening to the taxpayers. U of M just had the largest sex assault scandal settlement in the history of higher ed, almost $600 million after victims were sexually assaulted at U of M. We have all-time highs of mental illness on campus. Students have been isolated behind a computer and a mask for 2 years. So my intention is to be a physical presence, to invest in the resources for people to come forward. If they're victims of sexual abuse, to speak up and get help. I'm going to be a beacon of hope and leadership for all students. And it's not about eliminating one area of thought. It's about incorporating a broader perception. And so many of these kids, Steve, are strapped hundreds of thousands of dollars in student loans. And juxtapose that against career opportunities, it really calls on U of M to do the right thing by the students and teaching the proper material.
Okay, Lena, look, you're a hero. Like I said, we wouldn't have won in 16 if you had not been there in Michigan. You're an absolute hero. You've shown tremendous courage in doing this. How do people find out more about this? How do they follow you on social media?
Thank you. The website is Lena for Regent, www.lenaforregent.com. And I'm so honored to have America's Mayor, Rudy Giuliani, in town tonight and tomorrow, who has endorsed me, will be here ensuring that we prevail tomorrow. It's going to be an extraordinary honor and task to serve as the incoming conservative member of the board at U of M.
Lena Epstein, you're a hero and a patriot. Thank you so much for doing this, and thank you for joining us today in War Room Battleground.
Thank you, Steve. God bless you.
Okay, for my producing team and from Memphis, let's bring in Maureen Bannon. Captain Bannon is down actually at the summit in Williamsburg. I want to do a quick hit with her. I've got Jay Kansara, we've got Josh Mandel, we've got Rebekah Koffler, all to come. Rachel Hamm out in California. Maureen, are you there?
I am.
So tell us about the summit. How's it been today? This is the Election Integrity Summit in the Commonwealth of Virginia. You've got Cleta Mitchell's group. You got Conservative Partner Institute. You've got the Tea Party Patriots. Tell us what's been going on.
So earlier we had a lecture on poll workers and what poll workers need to do for the upcoming elections. And then tomorrow we'll have all day of lectures, panels on how we make sure that 2024 was not stolen like 2020. And interesting enough, we have people from all over the country that have come up here for this summit. So it's not just residents of the state of Virginia. We have a lady that flew all the way in from Florida. Someone came from Maryland, a bunch of War Room posse here, all big fans of the show. But everyone's excited. and morale's high, and we want to know what we can do to make sure this does not happen again.
That's what I want to ask you. And I thank you for being down there tomorrow too. Tell us about the spirit down there. Are people jacked up?
They are. They are upset about the fact that the 2020 election was stolen, and they are more than ever determined to make sure that this does not happen again in the midterms in 2022 and the presidential election in 2024.
Okay, Mo, we're going to check in with you tomorrow. Thanks. Say hi to everybody down there, particularly people in the posse that are there. Tell them we love them and glad they're down there. We'll talk to you guys tomorrow.
Okay, sounds good. Have a great evening.
Okay, Captain Maureen Bannon. Okay, let's go. I want to play Jay Kansara. He's one of the smartest guys in the country. He's a Hindu-American leader, very pro-Modi. He's been tremendous to me to help understand what's going on in India. We've got we got a couple of clips we want to play for him. Go ahead and play it, and I'm going to bring Jay in.
Yes. Thank you so much, sir. This is John Zawadi from Airline News in Pakistan. As you're well aware that Prime Minister Imran Khan is still blaming US for his ouster from PM's office, while he's also asking his supporters to keep protesting outside the White House. But yesterday, Congresswoman Omar met with Mr. Khan in Islamabad. It was kind of an hour-long meeting. Close associates for Mr. Khan claimed that the United States is trying to clear the air with Mr. Khan. Is it true that Omar is representing Biden government there in Islamabad?
Well, as I understand it, Representative Omar is not visiting Pakistan on U.S. government-sponsored travel, so I need to refer you to her office for questions on her.
She has visited a part of the Indian Union territory of Jammu and Kashmir that is currently illegally occupied by Pakistan. Let me just say that if such a politician wishes to practice her narrow-minded and politics at home, that's her business, that may be her business. But violating our territorial integrity and sovereignty in its pursuit makes this ours, and we think the visit is condemnable.
Okay, one of the biggest events during President Trump's presidency was the Howdy Modi event down in Houston. Jay Kansara was absolutely essential in pulling that together. In India, remember, they're the key that picks the lock in the Indo-Pacific strategy against the regime in Beijing, the Chinese Communist Party. Jay Kansara, thank you for joining us. We got a couple minutes on this side, Jay, and I'm going to hold you over through the break. Jay, I'm confused. What is Congressman Omar got her own foreign policy? What is she doing in Pakistan? And is this causing a big problem with our great ally in India?
Yeah, it seems to be causing a great problem for the United States government in general. She clearly has gone on some independent mandate. One of the gentlemen in one of those pictures that you saw seems to be facilitating, if not funding, her trip. His name is Tahir Javed, and he is a DNC officer based in Texas. He says that he's the deputy finance chair. I can't verify that independently, but I'll take his word on it. And by doing this, she has put herself in a very awkward position because she is not held in any high esteem in the Foreign Affairs Committee, which she sits. She does not seem to lead legislation that has any great consequence for the party or for her or for the nation as a whole. And by injecting herself in a time when Pakistan is being censured, even so to speak, by the Biden administration for its nefarious role in the fall of the Afghan government, I don't understand why she's there. It serves no purpose for U.S. foreign policy or U.S. national security. And frankly, I think she's even out of step with her own party. But she's most certainly a national security threat for the entire country.
Well, Jay, we got a minute here. I'm going to hold you over. Given Afghanistan, what happened there, given what's happening in Ukraine, given how important India is to peace in the region and as an ally to the United States against the CCP, how dangerous is this for mixed messages and people uncertain about what's being said?
Absolutely. It's most certainly detrimental to America's standing with India. I mean, Biden has done enough damage on his own. He doesn't need somebody outside of the administration to do it. But by injecting herself most certainly in the space of trespassing on India's territory, which the Pakistan-occupied Kashmir most certainly is India's territory. By trespassing and taking on an adversary's side on this, she is potentially going to damage America's reputation in India, and that is why even the State Department had to distance themselves very publicly from her trip. Now the question goes: who is funding her trip, and do they have ties to terrorist institutions and organizations in Pakistan and elsewhere? And frankly, this requires
we're gonna get to all
professional
that.
ethics investigation.
Just hang on for a second. We're going to get into all that. Got Jay Kansara, one of the leaders of the Hindu American community, was central to the Howdy Modi situation. Has been a great conduit for information back and forth between our great ally in India. Omar looks like she's going rogue. We're going to get to all that. We also have Josh Mandel. We got Rebekah Koffler. All next in War Room Battleground.
War Room Battleground with Stephen K. Bannon.
Lindell TV is pleased to present
War Room Posse. My name is Royce White. I'm running against Ilhan Omar as a congressional candidate here in Minnesota, an America First nationalist populist congressional candidate. But today isn't about my campaign. Today, as an American citizen, I would like to know why Ilhan Omar was in Pakistan. Who sent Ilhan Omar to Pakistan? What was the goal? I have a theory that the globalists plan to use China and Pakistan to pincer President Modi, who is a nationalist there in India. Stay vigilant, hold the line, nationalism, nationalist populism, America first. Godspeed.
Okay, I want to bring in Jay Kansara. Jay, that's Royce White. He's running there in the congressional district. We only got a couple of minutes, but you're a very even-handed guy. And I just want to make sure I'm hearing this right, because my phone's been blowing up all day about this from people that are in the national security business, particularly interested in the Chinese Communist Party with our great ally, India. Are you calling for an investigation, a congressional investigation immediately of what Omar's doing over there, who financed this trip, what she's been telling people, sir?
Absolutely, and it needs to go far beyond that. It needs to be a DOJ investigation, and she needs to be censured at the highest levels of the U.S. government. It's very clear that by visiting the Pakistan-occupied Kashmir, which China has considerable interest in taking over more territory there, which they are building infrastructure installations, roads, bridges, even air tarmacs in that region. They are chipping away at India's sovereignty, and as you saw, India's foreign ministry made it very clear that this is in direct violation of its sovereignty. It's nice to have a government speak about sovereignty so effectively. Frankly, I wish our government was as forceful on that front, but nonetheless, Prime Minister Modi and his government are going to hold the line. And the United States, as a partner to India in the Indo-Pacific region, we need to back that up with action here in Washington and call for an investigation. One of the other features of Ilhan Omar's trip was her meeting with just recently ousted Prime Minister Imran Khan. Imran Khan accused the United States of meddling and conspiring to oust him in a coup. And I don't know how a U.S. sitting member of government can meet with a former foreign leader like that in good faith, considering that he is calling that the United States has ousted him in a coup. And I don't know who is funding this. I don't know who is manipulating Ilhan Omar to do this, because I don't think she's quite up to snuff to plan all this out herself. So there are bigger actors at play. One of the things that she continuously also engages in on the American front is defunding the police and supporting riots, and that is actually a common feature of Muslim Brotherhood activity in India, particularly in Kashmir. So she has a very nefarious agenda, both domestically and internationally, and she is not someone that the United States should be holding up on a pedestal to represent it overseas.
Jay, we're going to get you back on here on Monday. We're going to follow this up because you're a very even-handed level guy. You were key to get the howdy modi. What social media? How do people follow you over the weekend, Jay?
At JP Kansara on both Twitter and Getter. Thank you.
Jay, thank you very much. Jay Kansara, very disturbing information about Omar in Pakistan, and it's a tinderbox. Let's play. We have Josh Mandel. I want to play the clip from Josh Mandel. I want to bring in Josh Mandel. He knows something about bad neighborhoods throughout the world as he's represented the United States military over there. Let's go ahead and play this clip.
This Faith and Freedom rally became Faith, Freedom, and Flynn in a Norwood church where Senate candidate Josh Mandel delivered a dizzying number of declarations.
The left is trying to teach our kids there's over 50 genders, and as young as 8 years old, you can just pick your gender. That's not right. There's only 2 genders. Yes, boys are boys, and girls are girls.
General Michael Flynn is touring Ohio with him today, telling us beforehand why he's a Mandel man.
We need warriors right now. Everybody knows it. Everybody in this country feels it. All Ohioans feel it. I mean, we need a massive change.
In short, that change is to wake up to wokeism. The Mandel message, leftist Democrats are trying to take away God, guns, and free speech.
They're trying to institute socialism in America.
Before he launched into his biggest applause line of the morning, he explained to us why he's done with bipartisanship.
You know, we've seen what Republicans who go there to take a knee for the Democrats gets us. It gets us Obamacare. It gets us big bank bailouts. It gets us sending American jobs to China. We're done with that.
To the 100 or so who crowded into Immaculate Conception Church, Mandel and Flynn hit hard at that theme with a dozen days of primary campaigning left.
This is not the 11th hour for the United States of America. This is like the last couple of seconds of the 12th hour. Yes, sir. That's how serious this is.
Taking note of media following him around the state, Mandel concluded.
And let me say it very clear. I believe this election was stolen from Donald J. Trump.
Wow, Josh Mandel, General Flynn. Josh, I want to ask you first, we just had Jay Kansara. You've served your country over in that part of the world. You've seen the debacle in Afghanistan. These radical Democrats like Omar, you and Flynn? I mean, Flynn was head of DIA. You're a Marine, served over there during the toughest times of the wars. How dangerous is it to have somebody like Omar wandering around in Pakistan, sending conflicting messages to our great allies in India, sir?
Well, she's an Islamist of the worst kind. I mean, I believe here in America, you know, if she had her way, she'd be instituting Sharia law. And she actually reminds me of someone from Cleveland. He's not Muslim, but he was a radical congressman named Dennis Kucinich. And Kucinich used to go to Syria to meet with Assad. And it's the same type of thing. These folks who want to play footsie with radical Muslims, they create danger for American servicemen and women overseas, and they create chaos and incoherence for American foreign policy.
General Flynn's a beloved figure in the MAGA movement. Walk through what's been like the last couple of days, you going around with General Flynn, and why is General Flynn supporting you, Josh?
Yesterday was on fire, Steve. So we started in Cincinnati at Immaculate Conception Church, which is a Catholic church in the Cincinnati area, and packed the church. General Flynn and I were there, you know, speaking about the fact that we believe that the election was stolen from Donald J. Trump, speaking how the leftists and the Democrats are trying to institute socialism in this country. I spoke out very strongly about why I protect life with such ferocity, and I've been so active in the Right to Life movement, even when John Kasich and others were trying to stop pro-life legislation here in Ohio. We left the Catholic Church there in Cincinnati and went up to Victory Christian, which is an evangelical church in the Dayton area. There we talked a lot about stopping the transgender craziness that's going on in the schools, standing up for eternal truths and biblical truths, like boys are boys and girls are girls. And I also talked a lot about the fact that it's time for us to go on offense. We're not the intolerant ones, Steve. The intolerant ones are the leftists who are trying to trample on our beliefs that have been around for thousands of years. And what I spoke about at both churches, both in Cincinnati and in Dayton, is the fact that the left believes in one nation under government. And when you believe in one nation under government, the rules always change because they just make them up as they go along, depending on who's in political power. But we as conservatives, we as those who believe in America first, we believe in one nation under God. And when you believe in one nation under God, the rules don't change because they've been around for thousands of years. So that was a lot of General Flynn and my message at the churches in Cincinnati and Dayton. And then we went up to Youngstown. And as you know, Youngstown, one of those areas where the Chinese Communist Party hit hard. And both Republicans and Democrats gave the store away to the Chinese Communist Party. And there in Youngstown, we talked quite a bit how I'm going to take America First policies and lead with them and take on the squishy establishment Republicans and the Democrats who want to give our jobs away.
Josh, I know you got other people coming. I want you to walk through the audience and where they go to find out where you're going to be going over the next couple of days. What does it look like? This race couldn't get more intense. You only got 13 days to go. How can people find you and where are you going to be the next couple of days?
Website's real easy. It's joshmandel.com, JOSHMANDEL.com. You go on there and you'll see a bunch of videos on all my positions. You'll see that I'm pro-God, pro-gun, pro-liberty, and pro-Trump. We've got some big rallies coming up next week. Senator Ted Cruz has endorsed me, and we're bringing him in. We're going to barnstorm the state. He's coming to Dayton. He's coming to Cleveland. He's coming to Columbus. He's coming to Cincinnati, and he's coming to Toledo. So we'll be announcing those rallies next week. So if you want to go on our website, joshmandel.com, you can sign up for updates. You can chip in a little donation. You can sign up to volunteer. And then next week, we'll be announcing all the details for the Ted Cruz rallies coming to Ohio next week.
So people can go to the website and they get all your policies and get videos on where you stand, what you believe in. They can see the people that are endorsing you, and they can also get updates on where these rallies are going to be as you rev it up to Election Day. Is that correct?
Exactly. So we did something a little different with our website. Not only did I put a list of all my policy positions, but I actually sat down, took hours, and filmed videos on every policy position we could think of. And so if you want to go see my position on election integrity, you can go on the website, joshmandel.com, on Second Amendment, on protecting life, on drilling for oil and gas, on any of these issues, standing up for religious liberty and the Judeo-Christian bedrock of America, on America First and taking on the Chinese Communist Party, on the border invasion and what we have to do to stop Biden and the Obama Alumni Association from facilitating this border invasion. You go on that website, and I'm open kimono, and I think it's refreshing for voters to be able to actually not just read what someone stands for, but actually watch the videos as well. And as you know, Steve, this campaign we're running, no one's going to outsweat me, no one's going to outwork me. We've been crisscrossing this state, and I did something that's unconventional. We sidestepped the traditional Republican Party, and instead of running the campaign through the Republican Party groups, we're running the campaign through churches. And that's why yesterday we were at the two churches in Cincinnati and Dayton, and why when Senator Cruz comes, we're going to be taking him to churches all over Ohio as well.
One more time, Josh, how do people get to the website?
Real easy. It's joshmandel.com, and you can learn all about me. I'm a Marine Corps vet, did a couple tours in Iraq, did my small part. I'm also a dad, have 3 little kids, Gideon, who's 5 years old, Judah, who's 7 years old, and Rosie, who's 9 years old. And people ask me why I'm running, Steve, and I say those are my 3 reasons. I'm running to save this country for my kids, for your kids, and for your grandkids. And for me, that's a fight worth fighting. And the only way to win that fight, the only way to save the Republic, the only way to shape America for our kids and grandkids is to send rock rib, hard right fighters to Washington.
Josh Mandel, fight on. Thank you very much for joining us today on Friday, the 22nd of April. Thank you,
Thank you.
That's a dogfight up there in Ohio. I want everybody engaged, everybody focused. Okay, let's go to, we got a great clip to play for another fighter out in California, Rachel Hamm. Can we play her clip?
This is a fraud on the American public.
A woman accused of filling out her dead mother's ballot.
Police are now dealing with what they believe were instances of mail theft where ballots were swiped in the process.
A new investigation has found hundreds of thousands of questionable ballots sent to LA County voters.
Thousands of ballots stolen and cast fraudulently in the last election. But California's liberal politicians won't pass voter ID, even though an overwhelming amount of voters support it. California, it's time for something different.
They're afraid of the Rachel Hamms of the world.
I am backing her to run for secretary.
My name is Rachel Hamm. I'm a wife and a mother. That's always been my highest calling. I'm also an author, a life coach, an influencer.
best-selling author Rachel Hamm. She's the host of The Rachel Hamm Show.
I have built my life and career on telling hard truths. That's why I'm running for Secretary of State. This is what I'll do as your Secretary of State. Require voter ID, bring back paper ballots, eliminate mail-in ballots while keeping traditional absentee ballots, bring back single-day voting, aggressive voter roll cleanup, unfettered watch reforms, and a 2020 election audit if those currently in power don't have the integrity to do one. Californians deserve to know that their elections were and are free and fair.
Okay, Rachel Hamm now joins us. Rachel, tell the audience what's going to happen tomorrow. I hear you're throwing down hard against the establishment in California, running for Secretary of State. Walk us through what happens tomorrow, ma'am.
Yeah, so tomorrow the candidates that are running for statewide office who received enough delegate votes, they did get 200 or more, get a chance to speak at the California GOP convention. So it's going to be interesting because the GOP is actively trying to sabotage my campaign. It was very interesting watching Mandel's interview, before me, because it's so similar, right? Like the establishment is against those of us who, first of all, are saying the election was stolen, who are fighting for election integrity, who are outside of their system and their control. And so I'm calling them on it.
So what time does this take place tomorrow? How can people find out about this? How can they watch it? You've become kind of one of these rock stars in the 3 November movement to get to the bottom of all this elections theft. How do people find out more about this? How can they watch you tomorrow in action?
Well, it's going to be live in Anaheim between 2 and 4 p.m. tomorrow, but there's no way to watch online. I will be personally filming it and posting it as soon as I'm done. So you can watch it on my YouTube channel, my Instagram channel, The Rachel Hamm on Instagram, The Rachel Hamm on Getter, Rachel Hamm SOS on Twitter, Rachel Hamm campaign page on Facebook, and then the Rachel Hamm channel on YouTube. But, it's so interesting. I have Mike Lindell's endorsement, right? Like Mike Lindell has been asked to endorse everybody and their brother, and he has only endorsed a handful of candidates, and I'm one of them. And the reason why is he said he met with me, he looked in my eyes, and he could tell I was the real deal. This is what I would like to know. And then also I have General Flynn's endorsement, same as Mandel earlier, right? Same thing. He told me, General Flynn said, Rachel, you have the grit and the skill to actually turn the state of California around. You're the only Secretary of State candidate in California that I'm willing to endorse. You have my full support. Amazing to get these men's support and endorsement. And they know what in the world is going on. Like they mean what they say when they say that I am the one that can do it. So why on earth would my own party be giving me more grief than the Democrats? I literally have more opposition from them than I do from the Democrats. And I would suggest that is because we have infiltrators. Trump told us, rhinos, right? We have infiltrators in the party. They are liberals in sheep's clothing, and they are literally trying to destroy the party from the inside out. And I want to expose it. Whenever I see something evil, I don't care if it's in my own party, I'm going to expose it, call it out. We need to identify them and expel them. And
Rachel,
I mean that
we're going to cover this closely tomorrow. I know you do. You're a fighter. We're going to cover this very closely tomorrow to see what happens. Rachel Hamm, keep fighting out there in California. Those people endorse you for a good reason. You're a fighter. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Rachel Hamm, that's the future of this party, these young fighters. Okay, I want to bring in Rebekah Koffler. She's the author of this great book on Putin's, about Putin's strategy, about taking down the United States of America. Rebekah, I just got you on for a couple of minutes, but I got to ask you, MSNBC, all media is playing all day long. Putin's having a nervous breakdown. There's going to be a coup against Putin. Putin's sitting there getting briefed by his intelligence officer. He's gripping the table. Is any of this, this guy better than anybody. You've studied him forever. Is Putin having a nervous breakdown? Is Putin just going to collapse and everything's going to be okay in the Ukraine, ma'am?
Absolutely not. This is nonsense, Steve. This is just more chasing of bright and shiny objects by the mainstream media. When you cannot do real intelligence analysis of your adversaries, that's what you do. You simply do some wishful thinking. I think the media heads themselves are gripping at the table now that we have just seen Joe Biden authorizing $800 million of U.S. taxpayers' money to prolong this conflict. So unfortunately and regretfully, Vladimir Putin, the cold-blooded KGB operative, is absolutely irrational. He's assassinating himself as he always has been. He's unleashing the hottest phase of this war, trying to take the most strategically important region right now in Ukraine, the Donbass region, and he's 100% sane.
I just want to make sure people understand this, is that you're saying with your analysis, and you've got the definitive book out about this guy, that everything they're hearing right now about he's having a nervous breakdown, he's lost control of the Kremlin, he's worried about being assassinated, that's all nonsense. And just you're recommending just watch what he's doing in Donbass and Mariupol on the land bridge to Odessa, or land bridge to the Crimea. Am I correct in hearing that?
100% correct. As I do intelligence analysis of Red Force, I had Putin evaluated psychological by a U.S. psychiatrist, forensic psychiatrist, and medical doctor, who's also a former U.S. Air Force officer who evaluated our own American nuclear missileers before they went on duty to guard our nukes. He does work for the Central Intelligence Agency, and his assessment is that there are no mental anomalies right now in Vladimir Putin. Okay. So, regretfully for Ukraine, he's going to continue annihilating and wiping off Ukraine off of the map until Zelensky settles. And right now, the two positions between these two leaders who have tremendous animosity towards each other, they're both stubborn with an element of narcissism, and they're duking it out, and Ukrainian people are paying with their blood for this battle.
Okay, we're going to put all your social media up so people can get your book and find out about your writings about Putin. I want to thank you very much. We're going to be back in the War Room at 10 o'clock tomorrow morning. Do not miss it. It will be on fire. See you then.